Alright, now that we have drawn Lucky Dog, we're going to color him. And coloring is pretty straightforward. Basically, you double click a symbol to enter its edit mode and use the paint bucket. A few more things you have to be aware of than that, but that's essentially it. So I'm going to zoom in on the ears here, and I'm going to double click on this ear, and I'm in here, and I'm going to get a light blue for the inside of Lucky Dog, and I'll click in there like that. Of course, if it wasn't filling in, I would want to check the modifier there. It currently says don't close gaps. You can always go out here to close large gaps and it'll fill in the shape completely. Now that I've filled this in, I actually don't want that line anymore. That line was just there to contain the color. So now that I've filled it, I'm going to select that stroke and delete it because I don't want it anymore. Okay, the same thing over here. I'll double click, fill that with the blue, and delete that stroke. Okay, here's the head symbol. I'll get inside there, fill that with the blue, and you may see little things like that. You may wonder, why is that white? Well, there's a little bit of segmenting that went on, some points, and it considers that a different area. So just click inside the other area that's left over and it'll fill it in. Okay, and then let's see. I'll do the head there, and don't worry about the eyes because the eyes are a separate symbol. I can go inside of them and color the eyeball, which I will do now. Okay, so I'll select this, and I'll go inside, and here is the top eye. I'll go inside of that, and then I'm in the eyeball, and just to be a little different, I think I'll give it kind of a yellow color. There we go. So I'll get this, and notice both eyes colored, and you may think, oh, what happened to my pupil? Well, it's still there. It's just that I'm inside the eyeball symbol. So the pupil is a separate symbol, so I'm just not seeing it right now. In fact, once I back out here at the top eye, I get to see the pupil again. You know, if I wanted to be really creative, I could click on the top eye, and then here's the pupil. I could go inside the pupil, and I could give this a different color, like some kind of a dark red or something. Let's see. Yeah, like that. Let me try this. Yeah, and then I could get rid of the stroke. It's a little too brown. Let me try something else. Let's see. Okay, I think that's what I had already, but I'll just go with this. Just to show you, you know, you can use some non-traditional colors. And there we go. Okay. All right, now the inside of the ear, I need to go back in the head to do that. This area in here, I'm going to start with a kind of a pink. And so I'll click in there, and I'll click in there. But I want a gradient. I don't want it to be solid. So let me show you how to do a gradient color. I'm going to click on this fill, and I'm going to open the color window, which is right here. It's this painter's palette icon. I'll click on that. Here's my color window. Right now it says solid color. Well, I'm going to switch that to linear gradient. Okay, so there I've got linear gradient, and I hate this, but the default is that it goes to black and white. I wish it would just keep the color that I used, but it didn't. I got to change these colors. Well, the white I like, but the black I want to be that pink. So here's how I can change it. I will, down here in the scale, I'll double click on this black color chip, double click right there, and it'll let me choose, and I could try to remember what I chose before, Or with the eyedropper, I can go up here and click the other one, and I know that I'll have the right one. Let's see. Linear gradient. Why didn't you take? Let me try this again. Oh, okay. All right, well, I guess I do need to choose the correct color. I still don't like that. I had something different before. There we go. Okay, like that. FF0066. Okay, so I'll select this one, click on the color, double click there, and where's FF0066? That's FF099. Okay, there it is. All right. So I've got those gradients in there. Now, I don't particularly like the direction of the gradients. I wish that they were going a different way. They go from left to right automatically. So I'll select this. And there is a tool that is hidden under the free transform tool. It's called the gradient transform tool. It's a special transform tool just for the gradient. So I'll select that. See how that changed. And I can rotate the gradient like this. In fact, I could stretch the gradient out to where it's less extreme. I could squeeze it in to where it's more extreme. That's about right. I'll select the other one. Gradient transform tool. I'll rotate it. And that's about right. Okay. So that's how you can deal with a gradient. Okay. Now, I'm going to work on the arm, and I'm going to show you something. Here's the top arm. I double click on it, and I wish that these were in layers. It would make it easier to color these if they were in layers. Well, I can. I can Command A, and if I select all, Command A, it only selects the symbols inside of the top arm symbol. So it's all very local. So I can once again do Modify, Timeline, Distribute to Layers, and then within this symbol, it distributes to layers. And that might help my coloring process a little bit. Okay, so now I can double click, and oh, here's another thing. If I want that blue right there, which I do for the body, if I were to get the paint bucket and try to match that color, it wouldn't give me the actual color I used. It gives me the grayed out edit mode version, so it's a lighter blue than what I really want. So I have to actually go out back into scene 1, get the paint bucket, and actually I'll get the eyedropper tool and click there, and now I've changed the fill color to that blue. Okay, so now I can go back out here, double click and go inside here, get the paint bucket, and I know that I'll fill it with the correct color. And this is one of the advantages to having the arm symbols be the same, the upper arm and the forearm. That way when I color one, I've colored the other. And just like with the head, I don't really want a line there or he'll look like a puppet, so I'll delete that. But the color I do want. I do want that color to be in the overlap area. Okay, so I'll go back out to top arm. I'll get the forearm. Double click on that. I will fill that. I'll get rid of these overlapping, these strokes that I put in to fill the color with. Okay, so it's open, but it bulges out, so I have that overlap. Okay, now both arms are done. Let's see, I need to do that with the hand too. So I'll go in here, I'll fill this, and notice how it didn't completely fill in. I've got to watch out for that little parts that get left out. Okay, and then this part I want to get rid of, and I can't do it because it's over there. So I'm going to have to actually maybe use the eraser. Might select that stroke, get the eraser, and do erase erase lines, and try this. And that worked. Okay. All right, but the hands are separate. They're different symbols, so I'm going to have to do it for each hand. So I did it for that one. I'll have to zoom in here and do the same for this one. Get inside, double click, get inside. Fill this with the blue. Okay. And then that's not separate, so I'm going to have to use the eraser. I've still got it with the erase lines, so it's only going to erase lines and not the fill. And there I go there, and I got that done. I can see some things I'm going to have to fix. There's that gap there. Let me just go here. I'll go in here and get in this upper arm, and I'll just extend that a little bit. That should fix it. Okay. Fixes it enough for now. Okay. Other things that need to be that same blue, while I've got that blue in the paint bucket, or in the torso, the neck. So I will double click on the torso there, fill in the neck with that color. Okay. The hips are going to have a pants color, but the tail is going to need to be that same blue. And I'm going to just work with this blue while I need it. The feet need to be the same blue. So I'll double click, fill that. Oh, and here again, I've got that situation where I don't want that line. I want to get rid of that, but I do want that overlap. Okay, now go back out here, click on this, enter symbol edit mode, fill it with blue. Again, it didn't completely fill. There we go. And get rid of that segment like that. Okay, out here, fill it in, get rid of that segment, go back out, double click, get in here, fill it in, get rid of that segment, and all the blue is done. So now all I got to do is color his shirt and pants. Okay, so let's see. I guess for the pants I'll choose some kind of maybe a green. Okay, so there are the pants. I'll get a green fill, maybe a dark green. Oh, maybe not that dark. Okay, so here I go. And I'm not worried about the fact that I haven't colored the torso yet. Eventually the torso or the shirt will cover up the pants. Okay, I'm going to go back out here, and then here's top thigh. I'll fill this in, and then I will get rid of that line. Here's shin, top shin, fill that in. I'm actually going to keep the line on the shin, because we'll see later in the walk cycle that the way that the shin's going to rotate with the thigh, I'm actually going to want a little bit of extra line there. And well, actually no, it's not the shin, because that's on top. I need that line on the thigh actually. And you may say, oh well, you've deleted it. What are you going to do? Well, there's this thing called the ink bottle tool, which will put a stroke on a fill. If you don't have one, and I've got the right color for the stroke, here's the ink bottle tool. I can just click right there and it puts it back. That's the ink bottle tool. Pretty cool. All right, and you can see that I can't see it because the thigh is below the shin, and that's why it's good to keep that line. You'll see why later. Although I did leave that line on there, and I don't want that, so I got to go back into the thigh and delete that upper line like this. And there we go. Okay. Also, another thing that I noticed is that's a little too high. I'm going to lower that so that his leg doesn't go so far up into the hip area. And these, I got some extra junk in there. I'll have to find out where that came from. Okay, I'll get into this area. I will fill this, and it won't fill for me. There's a couple of reasons. One, there seems to be a lock fill on, so I'll just unlock that. If it ever won't work, look at your modifiers. The lock fill might be on, or this don't close gaps might be on. And let's see, I may have to deselect and then select it again, or even, well, boy, this is being stubborn. Okay. I guess those aren't really joined the way I want them to be. Okay, I'm just going to break them apart again. Command B. And this is still not working. I'm not sure why. Okay, let's see if I can solve this problem. Maybe if I connect these. Yeah, they are. Okay. There we go. I just had to work with it. You know, if it's stubborn, you know, connect the lines. Maybe they'll join. Now that line I don't need. I'm going to keep that one because it's the thigh. Okay, so I'm back out here. Back thigh, I'll fill that in. Seem to be having the same problem. There we go. Okay. This line I don't need. Back out here, so my legs look good. I can't see where that is. It's not on there. Not sure where that line is. It's not. I may have to zoom in to see what that is. Cannot tell. It's not the hips. It's not that. Okay, I'll just have to get rid of it another time. If you're trying to find something, you don't know where it is, you can turn layers on and off for visibility. Okay, it's on the torso layer. So if I double click on the torso, there, I can get rid of that. So that's my detective work. Found that. Okay, so I got the pants colored. All right, now I'm going to work on the shirt, which is on the torso. So I'll click on the torso layer. Here I am. And I'm going to do a red. And I'm going to fill in that area and that area. And I could actually fill in the stroke with the same red. And if I just want to vary things and make it interesting, I can do a colored stroke. So I'll swap these colors there so that now the stroke is red. And I'll double click on the, oh yeah, I need the ink bottle tool, not the paint bucket. And double click, well, okay. I can just click on the segments with the ink bottle tool and it will change the segments to red. There you go, just for a little variety. Okay, now I do need some white here because you can see it's going to be seeing through his torso. So I need to fill that with white. I'll fill the shirt with white. I'll fill the collar with white. Okay, I'll come back out. Now the arms, need to do the same thing here. Fill this sleeve with white. Oops. It's not filling because that's a separate symbol. Got to get inside that one. Fill that with white. Okay, and then I'll swap these colors and fill that with red. Okay, and then I'll swap them again and maybe, oh yeah, use the ink bottle tool and give a color to the sleeve stroke. There we go, like that. Okay. Yeah, I think, okay. You see how it kind of blends in and disappears? This would probably work better if the stroke were a little darker version of the red. So I'm going to change that. I need a darker red. Okay. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of separation. I can see. Okay, that. I might even go inside the torso and do the same thing. Change that color. Maybe I will put it there. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll put the border on in here too. Okay. All right, so he is now completely colored. And oh yeah, there's one more thing we can do, and it really adds a quality to this. We can put little shadows, and that will make him look a little more lifelike. In other words, like a little shadow under the sleeve, a little shadow under his head on the neck there, and there are a couple other places we could do it. And I'm going to show you how we do that. I get inside this symbol here, and I'm kind of drilling down, just double clicking. I'm looking up there. I'm in the upper arm now. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this. Command C, that little segment right there I selected, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to Shift Command V, paste it in place, and then I'll use my arrow keys to kind of move it down and over a little bit. And then I'm going to use that to create a space to put the shadow. And I want the shadow to be the same blue. So I'm going to get the paint bucket and actually, let's see, I need the eyedropper. I'll click on the color of that stroke there, and it changed the stroke color to the blue. And I want the fill color to be that blue, so I can just swap the colors. And I got to make sure I have the paint bucket and not the ink bottle. So I got the paint bucket. I'll click inside. There's my shadow. And now I don't need this line anymore. So I'll select it and delete it. There's a little bit left over. Select and delete that. And now I've got a little shadow. Okay. I can do that with. I'm going to do that with the head. So I'm going to go into the torso. There's the torso, and here I don't really have a line close by, so I'll have to make one. I swap these and just kind of make a line, and then just kind of move it up like that. Move it down a little bit, and then swap the colors again. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Deselect, and then swap the colors. No, swap the colors there. I need that to be my fill color. I'll get the paint bucket, fill that in, and the neck is behind the head, so it's okay that it goes that far up into the head, because when I go out here to scene one, there it is. It's like a shadow. You could do a lot of this. For instance, I could go here to the tail, double click on that, and I could do another line. Let's start with it in object mode so I don't mess what I've already got up. Don't mess it up. I could do this and do that, and then just kind of do this, and then break that apart. Well, yeah, I'll break it apart. I'll use the paint bucket. I'll fill in there. There's a little shadow. Don't need this stroke anymore, so I'll select it and delete it. And I got a little shadow on the tail. I could even do it here inside the hand. You know, I could Command C, Shift Command V, move that down a little bit. Maybe I need to get that free transform tool back. Rotate it a little bit. Move it up, move it over, move it up, down. Then paint bucket, fill that. Oops. You know, well, you could do all kinds of things, but I could. Let's see. Rotate that. Zoom in. Alter this right here, and then I can fill in. Oops. Let's see that. Yeah. Okay. Paint bucket. Try again. Okay, this is not closing. Apparently that. There we go. Okay. Now I'll try the paint bucket, and there we go. I can get rid of this stroke. I don't need that. Get rid of that. I got a little shadow there. So you can do as much of this as you want. The only other place I really think I should have one is right there, kind of in the groin area, just to give a little realistic shadow there. I think I will, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that here in the hip area. Go inside, and I think I'll copy this, paste it, and I'll do that, and then I will get the paint bucket, click in there, and then delete this, delete that. Got this extra part of the circle out here that I don't need. And when I go back out here, I see that there's sort of a little shadow there. Okay. Anyway, that's how you can create some shadows. Okay, one more place I see I should do it is with the heel, because there should be a little shadow there where that is. So here I go. Draw that. Okay. I need to break that apart. Fill that. Okay, and that works for that. And I can do the same thing on the back heel. Like that. Break it apart. Move it down. There we go. Okay. And okay, it's a little bit more than the other, but you see, you get the idea. Okay, and so LuckyDog is ready. He is colored and he is ready to animate.